a lot of the power up to that Baron lane. And speaking of the Baron lane, Feibai is there.
Hello.
He's switching over to mid.
All right, we'll see how it looks in the draft, but for now it is Senna. Got some attention in the last series, looks pretty good, is going to be banned away. ThunderTalk going to take Camille off the board. And as you said, with it is funny, like, I haven't noticed yet the double Rift Herald being super impactful, but definitely a lot of bans I've noticed, even this early on, are often Baron lane. It's just champions you don't want to play against, a lot of these big bruisers.
There are a lot of really strong bruisers. The Camille and the Riven being a couple of them. You can flex those into the jungle as well, which makes those really powerful bans. And you mentioned the Senna before. Our desk has been talking a lot about how Senna has been already 100% pick ban. This makes 5 for 5 now, winning all the games that it's been picked as well. Really, really powerful flex option in that bottom lane. You can play it Dragon lane or the support. So wanting to remove that one. And again, one of those bruisers, the three queens of the bruiser meta, the Fiora adding on to them.
I feel like Z's losing all his champions. I guess he's swap lanes.
His own team banning it though.
Gotta take it away from the Team Secret side. Renekton and Ziggs, the other two for them. Definitely champions we've seen a lot. Ziggs seems to kind of square in just wherever, as Galio is going to be the first pick here for Secret. But that's a 5v5 champ if I've ever seen one.
Another flex option. We was highlighting the strengths of that. Send that one mid or support, or when Senna's available, you can have it be farming in that lane that was already banned by Team Secret. I like that this one is just the opener. We've seen a lot of these teams pick this Galio to be an engaged force, and he doesn't typically do it himself. You do tend to have to use that hero's entrance on an ally to get things started, but it is something that can work from both of these different roles, and I like that it's the first mix here.
All right, well, Gragas seen a little bit of attention, mostly in the last series on the ban side of things, but haven't seen it in a game just yet. This is going to be Gragas' first appearance here in Horizon Cup. Definitely a champion that plenty of players know the way around. Very curious to see how they kind of shuffle around these picks, as Graves is the other selection, but maybe starting to become the picks du jour here for Secret is Darius lining up alongside that Galio.
Another 5v5 champion. We just saw how powerful this one can be in our last series with Team Queso's Baron Laner himself, putting up a multi-kill performance on that one. Really, yeah, it was okay. A great game. He got the series MVP as well, accolade there. Lee Sin as well. This is less so of a 5v5 champion, but one that is a big bridge champion from the early game. It provides a lot of that burst that you're hoping to get from that early ganking power of the jungle, and then you can also transform that into some really strong late game picks with the Dragon's Range kick. But this Lulu
this
Vayne,
is great.
wow.
There's two things I like here. One, I love that Lulu Vayne is in the game. The other one is that they're counterpicking Vizzy. I assume, certainly hope he's not the Lulu player here in this team, but I guess you never know. He's very versatile, very talented. But Vayne is a champion that, I mean, when we talk about 5v5 power, she doesn't stop shooting people. Everyone does pretty quickly.
The late game is certainly secured here for Azure and for ThunderTalk Gaming. Our first look at what Azure and S12K look like on this team. We didn't get to see them in the WPL. This is their first bout as players on ThunderTalk, and it's for the Horizon Cup as well. So this is quite the stage to make that debut. Oh, okay, Z on Zed.
All right, well, you know what? It's kind of in the name there.
Yeah.
Going for the namesake champion, I suppose, but definitely one we didn't think we'd see maybe that much of, but I think if you can get away with it, especially if you can find some kills early, you can certainly snowball a game on an assassin like Zed.
This is definitely the style of champion that we know Z is very good at as well. Solo kill threat, you have a lot of sideline potential to just take over a game from there. Melee AD building champion. It's a different flavor from the Fioras and the Renektons that we see from him when he's playing Baron lane, but he's in a completely different role now. He's going to have to make this pool of champions work, and Zed seems to be a great opener for that.
And this is interesting. It kind of feels like we've got a lot of good team fight in general on both sides. I think Secret, for the most part, are just picking good 5v5 champs, leasing kind of the outlier, maybe as a bridge, as you've highlighted. Whereas it's kind of the same thing to me. It's like we have a tank, we have kind of a bruiser marksman, we have a Vayne and a Lulu, and then I guess we need to early game. All right, Zigo plays Zed.
Yeah, and the Lulu and the Nami in specific really jump out to me in this series, because the other two series we've seen a lot of tanks, and the Rakan as well, which is sort of a pseudo tank. He's doing a lot of the engaging for you. This is the first game where we've had enchanters in general, but now we have two of them right away. Really shows that both of these teams are looking at that late game and are looking at how they can really advance the scaling and advance the damage of their carries in the Varus and the Vayne respectively.
We'll have to see how it all shakes out, but definitely a fun draft to kick things off. It is, I don't know how many unique picks it's been, but certainly across the first, I guess this is game 5 of the day. We've had some sweeps, but even just in the 5th game, there's been a lot of different strategies showcased, so it is cool to see Enchanters finally out and about on the Rift.
Biggest difference to me in this early game is that on one side you have this Lee Sin, which has been a cornerstone champion in the meta for many patches and months now, as he just does really everything that you could possibly want. But now with the jungle changes that have come in patch 2.5, you are more incentivized to go for your blue side of the map. You are more incentivized to go for some farming styles. We've seen a lot of Graves pop up in some pickup games, most notably for me that I've seen in the Rift Masters games that have been going on in North America. Graves has been like kicking butt on this champion, so I'm excited to see this one pull out against a more ganking jungler picked up by Trevor.
All right, the gang's in the brush, and they are trying to see if anyone wants to walk through. Azar is going to face check, and that is the wrong place to be. He's going to flash out, gets himself ignited for his trouble, but he's A-okay at least.
Yeah, both summoners now down for Azar. That's not going to feel great up there in that Baron lane. And what might feel even worse is this lane swap that we're seeing. Both of the duo from ThunderTalk stationed up here. Looks like they're just going to try to punish this Darius and make his laning feel much more sadder for him. He's not going to the lane at all, though. He's much more interested in playing in the jungle.
Yeah, I'm out of here. I do not want to play this 2v1. In fact, they're actually going to swap it back. Chewy and Hermes back to the top side, but that's going to give a leg up, of course, early here for ThunderTalk. Treble, though, busy clearing these Krugs, as we'll see how the rest of this shakes out. But I wonder if ThunderTalk will swap back. I feel like at this point, you take the lead you've gotten, right? You've already gotten an XP advantage.
Yeah, it definitely feels like this is ideal for them. They already got a head start into this game, and with this, they could potentially bring Chris into the enemy jungle, too.
All right, well, just a quick reminder, link your Prime account with your Wild Rift account if you want to receive a random skin chest. Thanks to our friends at Prime Gaming. You know what, Smacks? I do love me some free stuff. Already got me Prime, so happy to cash that in when I get home later.
Yeah, not too bad. I'm hoping to get the new Jace skin from mine. I've been trying to play this champion. I feel like he's going to work in the jungle, but unfortunately he's not enabled for this tournament, so we're not going to see him here. But it doesn't mean you can't play him in your solo game.
That's true.
Just recently out, yeah.
Any Arcane fans at home, Jace and Caitlyn are in the game, but not allowed in this tournament, just if you were wondering. Back to this one, though, we are going to get the swap. In fact, it's a swap on swap. Here is Azure and S12K have made their way back down to their normal lane here in the Dragon lane 2v2, but are going to be chased around the map by Chewy and Hermes.
Yeah, it seems like ThunderTalk's duo are getting to these places earlier right now, which is going to provide them that slight lead. You can see it slightly reflected in that gold picked up by Azure. And this Vayne really can take all the leads that she can get. You're trying to avoid all laning with this Varus. The Varus and the Nami have a lot more range than you do in this lane, so you want to make sure that you get your scaling online, and whether it means that you're leashing your enemies around the map to do it, you know, any means necessary is going to help.
Yeah, Serrated Dirk, double airy, doesn't seem like a very fun 2v2 hit for Vayne. And as we can see, pinned to the turret, which is going to be pretty commonplace here in the 2v2. Azure, though, doing a decent job just kiting around, but again, that poke already feels pretty unfair as Nami just pops the ebb and float. So Azure are going to have to play a bit safer. Zeta roaming down here. Zert's still ready for the first blood, does have the ulti at the ready, but is spotted on a ward and is going to head back to mid, it looks like.
Nice defensive ward available. Woo! That summon Airy was so close to killing Azure, but is going to be a recall in the end. Maybe a safeguard over the wall from Trevor. It doesn't look like he's going too adventurous with this one. Just going to let that recall come through. But speaking of Trevor, he does have a pretty sizable lead at level 5. Going for the flip.
Great kick there. Q's going to land, Tidal Wave's going to follow up, and that's such an easy first blood. And Varus of all champs collects it.
Excellent work there for Team Secret. Trevor knowing that his team is that huge range duo here, so he can go well past his limits, well underneath that turret, knowing that that arrow and that wave are coming to collect the kill. Excellent start for Team Secret.
Yes, 12K, a little bit greedy, I think, just hanging around that tower a bit too long without an AD. As well, just one again. Lulu, no ult, and absolutely no hope in this spot.
Maybe trying to collect the experience underneath that turret, but once Lee Sin shows up, you know, I cannot stay here. I have to flash as soon as possible. But Trevor, really quick on the reflexes to arrive there as well, and does get a lot of priority down here in this duo lane that has sort of been giving Chewy and James some trouble, you know, moving him around the rift and making them feel uncomfortable.
Yep, instead steals the gold that they would have gotten from the early 2v2. Happy to take it delayed there for that first blood there on the Team Secret side. Our first objectives have spawned. one on each side. Looks like the Dragon is the current consideration for the teams, but Chris actually roaming down here to that bottom side. Tetsuri currently hanging out in the bottom side of the map, leaving Zed all alone. Zed and Z, I suppose, in the mid lane there, but Secret are going to go ahead and start off this Dragon.
Stands for Zed. He's going to want to get that ultimate off very, very soon in this team fight. It's just going to be about whether or not he can isolate one target. It does seem like they're stacking up, but going in for right now.
Yeah, going for it. Actually, Hammond's very low. That should be enough. Indeed, it is. Dragon, the who's it going to get it? It is indeed Lee Sin that collects it. Secret walk away with the Infernal. A very critical Drake to get as Chris has been empowered by the Wild Growth, but only one kill. Doesn't feel worth it for that Drake.
Z sure does have a lot of burst on this Zed, but it does feel like they run out of steam just a bit too much. That scaling that we're expecting to see in the late game from these double marksmen, the Graves and the Vayne, it's not quite here yet. So you get that initial burst. Death Mark does do a lot, as you can see Hummus very quickly eviscerated, but they can't get anything else.
Yeah, nice highlight there for Z and the Axe replayers are back to life, and the Rift Herald is now being taken. Secret looking for both the objectives here. They won the fight, they won the Drake, and now they're going to take this Herald here as well. You see ThunderTalk somewhat in the area, maybe thinking about a contest, but that is absolute map domination here for Secret, getting both of those.
And again, realizing that they do need that scaling, they know that they can't really initiate that team fight as much as they would like to take away one of these early objectives. The Infernal Dragon and the Rift Herald both going over to Team Secret now, trying to set up a dive with Big Shelly.
Yep, nice. Oh, what a kick through the Lulu. S12K in trouble. Tidal Wave's coming through. There's one, there's two. Secret setting it up oh so well, and they're even going to get the tower out of the deal.
Trevor, clean as can be on this Lee Sin. Now there's a Death Mark in mid lane.
Oh, that's so nice. It's not enough, though. Tetsuri can win, but there's the taunt. Predicts it there as Z's trying to get the kill. He does get it, and it's a wonderful trade out of the enemy turret.
Oh, 1 for 1 is not what Z was looking for there. You have so much assassination. You do take it in the end because you're forced to. You're underneath that turret. You have to commit in the end. But man, look at this kick from Trevor. That's 2 in a row on top of this Lulu. He cannot mess up on this champion. This is so exciting in this early game, and this is a team that we're expecting to have a lot of power in that late game. The early game bridge champion is what is making all these plays for Team Secret.
That was actually so excellently played by both players there. Dodging the Justice Punch there for Z, knowing what was coming in, and then having the taunt and just baiting Zed in, knowing that he wants to go for the kill to at least get the trade. Chewie did also die in the top lane, but don't talk about that, it's fine. ThunderTalk did get one back there, but it's Team Secret all the way right now. A turret apiece, but not for long, as Team Secret will claim their second bottom lane open right up here.
Looking at Azure and S12K to match that one up in the Baron lane. Seems like they're going to get it. And you take a trade like that if you're ThunderTalk. You want to get that scaling online.
Yep.
Excellent placement.
Yeah, Trevor looking good, but nice little defensive play there for Gragas. Fairby just lets it rip with the cask. But not too bad, as again, covering for this top side. Azure may be in trouble here. S12K underneath as Zazara is looking for the chase here. Trevor looking again for the kick straight onto the Vayne. The Q's going to miss, but the upper hand will not, and that's an easy Dunkaroonie there as Azure is going to kite away, but it's not enough as Varus finds the snipe.
Even giving it over to Chewie, and yeah, as you said, the Sonic Wave not connecting there, but again, these kicks are impeccable from Trevor. Anytime that cooldown is available, you gotta look out for it.
He's gone crazy onto Chewie, looking for that extra kill there. Trevor going back in. That's not it there for Faye. Can't quite get the cast. Tanky, but not tanky enough. Maybe I take it back as the Wildcard does keep him alive for a second longer, but it's not enough as the kill will finally go over once again to Secret.
That Team Secret finding plays across the rift, and we're seeing Z. He is going to that station in the side lane, but there's nobody here to match him. He can't deathmark. He already used that one, and now he's in a bit of a pickle. Can he escape?
Ooh, just barely misses the dodge on that bubble. Nice aim there for Hermes, but Z's going to ghost play and walk away. That's easy.
Yeah, pretty quick on the escape.
Ooh,
really? I don't know if this is a great play. Doesn't have the death mark. Yeah, just going for that cannon minion.
Teams here, but it's not enough. Does get the slow Lulu here as well as the rocket belts away. Always funny with the Darius, but nice bit of extra mobility the champion definitely loves.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. He was trying to push backward and then get the apprehend as well to gain some more distance between Z and the Lulu that was going to protect him, but didn't end up meaning anything. Drake's now up. Team Secret still a lot stronger this phase of the game. Azure looking for some more items before he can really come online unless they find a perfect team fight, but they're not all stacked up quite yet.
Feyby body slams away there. Tetsuri with the taunt is going to force them out.
Oh.
How strong is Azure? Can he make the fight work? There is Chris already a little bit too low. Trevor is going to take him out instantly. Now it's a 5v4 in favor of Team Secret. The team fight just looking so good once again. Z can't get in. Azure does get caught. Tetsuri finds two with the taunt. Azure forced to flash away, but still going to make it happen. Trevor does get forced out with that Q again. Out of the Lee Sin, Trevor can do no wrong. And the team fight's just too good. The gold lead too good as Team Secret take another team fight win.
Man, Team Secret juggling aggro of their opponents so well. You can see it reflected in every single one of their health bars, all blinking around 30 to 40% HP. They know their limits. They know just how much damage they have over their opponents in a spot like this. Will secure them that team fight and this Cloud Dragon, and they're just so far ahead at this point. And this is the late game team. I have to highlight this again. This is the team that we know will win games if they go to 25 minutes every single time. They're winning it early.
Yeah, Comeback Kings is one of their nicknames. Not going to be a comeback, at least on their side here. We'll have to be with ThunderTalk because this team fight so brilliantly executed. Azure made it look close at some points, but Trevor threads the needle at the end there to find that extra kill.
Yeah, Azure making it look close is very good news for ThunderTalk because he is that late game carry that will come online if Team Secret let him. But I don't know if they're going to let him at this point. That's another Rift Herald. They have another objective in the bank. They can take that one straight mid and start just rampaging through all of these structures. Already taking those side lane ones. As soon as that mid falls, your jungle's completely gone.
Remember when I said we hadn't seen two Heralds seem that important? I was wrong.
Feels
Max
pretty good right now.
As they're just going to get summoned up here in mid. Team Secret is taking every single objective off the map. Every monster is theirs. Every team fight is theirs. And now ThunderTalk going to maybe try and make it happen. Feyby looking for the angle, can't find it. Ulti out early from Nami. May give Z an angle there. Zed looking for it, goes in onto Chewy. That's a very bold kill to try and grab it. The Nami's too much. Almost combos in with the Gragas, but not enough burst.
Healing's too much for Chewy, and we're starting to get to that point where Z on this Zed, he doesn't quite feel like he has as much agency as he did on his Baron lane champions like the Fiora and that Renekton that still have a lot of late game, that still build items like that Blade of the Ring King, so you have a lot of sustained damage. That's just not Zed's MO. He is going in for the burst. He probably does kill single target if they're in a 1v1, but he doesn't do much after that. He certainly doesn't contribute to a team fight in any meaningful way. So Z moving over to that mid lane, finding that he doesn't have the same resources that he once did.
Yeah, I mean, you're constantly fighting, you know, the clock basically on a champion like yeah, you know, you got 2 kills already. Maybe feels like you're keeping up with the health and the defense of the enemy, but Z needed a 3rd kill in and amongst his last 5 minutes, hasn't been able to get it, and unfortunately, every kill that's close but not enough gets further and further away the further you fall behind.
Approaching that 12-minute mark. Azure on this Vayne, as well as Chris on this Graves, really want the clock to keep on ticking for ThunderTalk. They want this game to go as late as possible because contrary to the way that we typically think of Team Secret, they don't actually have that much scaling on this game. They've got a lot of damage that is pretty surprising in the late game from this Galio, a lot of burst that can come from this champion, but it's not anything compared to the critical strikes that come from the double marksman. So ThunderTalk, if they can stretch this game out and maybe force Team Secret into a sticky situation where they don't really want to go for this Baron or the oncoming Elder either, maybe they can get these team fights back into their hands.
Yeah, if the gold's about even at 20 minutes and Team Secret overcome the Lulu enhanced Vayne, we'll have some words about just how good this team are at executing in their 5v5s. For now, though, it is all momentum, all lead, and all Secret right now. As Baron's going to be up in 15 seconds. Seems like a thing they can collect if they want to, but much more interested in trying to bait ThunderTalk into their own jungle right now as they're sieging this top tier 2.
And the best thing that ThunderTalk can do is drop a redemption and hope that it wards them off, but no, not going to be even close to doing that. On the other hand, Z is doing the same thing that we typically see from him. He is in the side lane. He's taking these objectives for himself and for his team. That's going to give him quite a bit of gold. You can see he is the first on his team to hit that 10K. So he's got a lot of money on this Zed. It's just how effective can you make that money on a champion that spikes early?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Does have that 3rd as you mentioned, but we'll see if that's enough first to maybe take out Chili, who seems to be the target of Z's eyes of this game. Nice little upper hand there, but ulti out from Krista creates some distance here. As Ocean Dragon is alive. It is not the Elder, that will be the next dragon, but ThunderTalk would like to take these objectives away from Secret, who've gotten every single epic monster so far this game.
Chris trying to aggro the Drake and bring it out into the river, but it's gonna quickly reset right there as ThunderTalk realized, oh, they're all stacking up as 5 in this river. We probably don't want to take a fight on even terms. We probably do want to wait for that ultimate to come right back up for Chris and maybe catch somebody out. Got the spooky shadows.
Chewy again. Oh, good stasis. Gets grabbed early. Z just dead. Man. Trevor so good there as a tidal wave around the back from Hermes. He's going to kick off the rest of the fight. Secret trying to find a taunt, lands in onto Azure. But Azure's still alive. The Dragon also still up with the Darius. Able to grab one kill. And it's just Dunk City there so easy as the double kill is grabbed by Azure and Secret. It doesn't matter what the fight looks like. They're always going to win it.
Tatsuri going down, but Team Secret completely favored in that team fight. And I love the way that Azar is just diving forward as his front line as well. You can see that he knows how strong he is. He knows how much damage he can take and how threatening he really is to this backline. You can see that he dives in after he takes out this Gragas in the pit, and he's got all this AD as well from the resets. Look at this.
Oh.
Just diving straight forward. The condemn doesn't even help. It's still a double kill for him.
Good old spin flash. Dunkaroonie. As looking real nice here on the Secret side. You can see that gold lead stretching up to, what, 8K or so. We got too many items on the Darius right now. We got every dragon in the book. We got the Elder coming up next to complete the all 4 elementals if they want it. And they got the Baron at the end of it all as well.
I forgot to mention this as well in that last team fight, but Chewy with this stasis is just completely shutting down everything that Z wants to do with just one boot enchant. That is a very, very efficient 1,800 gold for himself right there that he's been purchasing. Not quite up yet, so there is still that time for Z to have the death mark available before Chewy can do it again, but he's completely on the other side of the rift as his base is being exploded.
Yeah, not really where they're going. Side lanes are not of interest to Secret currently. They're going to stick to the we are good at 5v5s and are very far ahead in gold. And going to go and try and take some of these towers to the entrance of the Nexus here. Ooh. They can grab them, supers will spawn. They get access to the Nexus. Azar going off, just takes out Feibai. He's the tank, by the way. Not so tanky. Chris gets one, but it's only the Guardian Angel. Oh, the apprehend on the end does find it. Wow, Growth going to be forced out. Chris will stay alive, but Azar's looking real angry in these team fights here. Redemption going to pop down, but that does not stop the push.
Oh. We've seen that story a few times now. Redemption is just not enough when it comes to all these minions attacking your base. That's 2 inhibitor turrets now down. Team Secret really have all of the tools that they need. You were mentioning those 8K gold lead before. That's about 15 right now.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, almost doubling right there. Not too bad. I'm pretty convinced that they don't really need the next Elder to spawn. And it, again, because of all these tools that they're providing in these team fights, we saw right there that Trevor did have the stasis for himself to stall out. He also had a Guardian Angel, so he does expend both of those, but he survives the entire time, and he effectively is the split push Lee Sin where he's bringing the Baron minion up and making sure that they have multiple lanes of attack, multiple ways they can break open this base. Now they're looking for a third.
I like that. It's a very normal statement. Split push Lee Sin,
yep,
GA, and a bit of stasis. I mean, it worked. They got the 2 towers they're looking for. Now just working on the 3rd Secret, going to keep it slow and steady. Z is trying to split push any lane that he can find, but very tough against these super minions. Very tough against a consistent onslaught here for Secret, who at this point are just trying to put the finishing touch on this game. As far as they're concerned, this game is already over.
They can bide their time at this point. They're way too far ahead for something like a Vayne and a Graves to matter, unless they really slip up. And they will probably have to do that many, many times over. They've got all their summoner spells available. There's in the enemy team's jungle.
Just pre-dunks him. Doesn't even care about the reset. As over the upper hand, Trevor with a massive kick. Kicks Chris into the waiting arms of the rest of Team Secret. And Azura's trying to go up, but it's not enough. That arrow finds 2 there as Z barely gets himself away. But it's 5 alive still for Secret. Azura just getting himself poked to death as the Vayne does not have the damage to finish off this game. As Secret will march themselves toward the Nexus.
They've got enough minions here, pastry time, and Z can't even pop a Guardian Angel. That's it. This Baron laner, best player in the world, turned mid, can't quite make it work in his first bout.
Got great hands. I can see why the hype is there, especially on a champion with the skill expression that Zed does have. I'm excited already, even though it was a loss by Secret. The hype is deserved from this team.
We saw that the desk all predicted this team to win. They're feeling pretty good about themselves. They're feeling pretty hype up, I'm sure, back there on the desk. And I'm feeling hype as well. That looked really solid. I loved the early game strategy from them.
Yeah, really nice looking in general there. Secret, I mean, again, it's funny, like we talked about how good their 5v5 is, but we did talk about how anyone can kind of carry, and they obviously have the individual skill to overpower some of their lanes, and it just felt like we got it all. We got the individual skill, we got the carry from every lane, we got Trevor popping off on Lee Sin every single play, and we did, for the most part, get beautiful fighting as well. That was, like, every Drake was just like, oh, you can't win.
There's really just something about these Lee Sin players at this tournament so far that just completely excites me. I'm sure excites everyone else who's watching. This champion just has so many opportunities to force gigantic plays, and it's really just the world is in the palm of your hand when you're playing this champion. It's all just about how good you are at executing. Trevor's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd be pretty afraid. Maybe put one of the Van Tail for next time. But for more on game one in this series, let's check back in with the Tigress, Omo, and Grandin on the ground in Singapore.
Who avenged their SEA Fallen from earlier in the broadcast. Hopefully I'm not spoiling anything right there for anyone. Hopefully you've been watching with us the entire time. I understand if you're not, it's pretty early in the morning in many places in the world. But if you're just joining us now, Team Secret up 1-0 against ThunderTalk.
Ooh, that's a brand ban. Cool.
You're absolutely right, Pacer Time.
Just making sure my eyes are still working here. Nice and early here. Not the one I expected. I was going to say I'm curious what shifts we see in draft. That's not necessarily the pivot I was expecting, but you know what? I like it. Renekton going to get banned here by Team Secret.
I'm still sort of flabbergasted
Right,
at that one.
Right.
ThunderTalk.
We got moving back to normal.
Yeah. So they banned the Riven and the Camille alongside the Fiora in the previous. So Brand. Well, we won't get to find out why that was banned, really, unfortunately, for this one. Maybe we'll find out in the rest of this tournament, yeah. The Renekton as well, though. So we are still attacking the Baron lane pool quite heavily here. And again, that's no surprise. These champions are all very powerful.
Yeah, Camille has to be banned this time by Secret. They're on the other side, the red side. Here for them. Also curious if Trevor's going to get his hands on Lee Sin. Could be, as Olaf is the third and final ban here for ThunderTalk. One ban left here in the whole draft, and then first pick over to the ThunderTalk boys. So, see what happens in just a mo. There's Ziggs once again being taken off the board.
It definitely feels to me like Trevor would like to play Lee Sin again. Yes. I would like him to play Lee Sin.
I agree.
I absolutely adored that. Although he will now have to play against this Riven. It was banned away in that first game, but selected here. This is a flex pick in both Baron lane and the jungle. Very powerful in both of those roles, and does have a lot to offer at really every stage of the game.
As Senna, they also let through a champion that was left off the table, Galio alongside, but Nunu is back in the building, Smacks.
Yes, he is. This is the first Nunu pick of the tournament. This is a super exciting champion because it's not every day that in the jungle position you get to see a tank, let alone a magic damage dealing tank. But Nunu really packs all of that into his biggest snowball ever and rolls it down and is a really potent jungler at ganking, at farming, at being a late game tank as well. He does a whole lot of different things, all very unique to his champion.
Feels like maybe leaning a bit more early game here on the ThunderTalk side. Definitely not lining up to be Enchanter plus Vayne this time around. Although I guess could be alongside the Lucian, depending on where they want to put their champion. Jaxo, the selection there for Azar, I have to assume.
And the Jax coming through could definitely be in the jungle as well, but really just a nice champion overall against auto attackers, the Riven and the Lucian already here. If it is that jungle, okay, well, it's not the jungle. The Vi is locked in here for Trevor. Not quite as flashy as Lee Sin, but does still get the job done.
You know what? Hit all those skill shots, did so on the last game. Once a break, you know? just click on it, you know? Let it come a little bit easier this time, you know? Maybe you need to give the fingers a rest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Lee Sin for 17 minutes of gameplay.
Perhaps inspired by Arcane as well. The most recent episodes just came out. So I know what I'm doing after this show. But Nami does come through, as you're predicting before. The Enchanter still happens with the Lucian. A really powerful combination. If you watched League of Legends Worlds just recently, you know that. Very similar in this game.
And last but not least, Diana is going to be the lock-in here. I'm guessing that's Z's champion, although I guess he could take Riven if he wanted. He is good on the champion, but he's not the Baron laner right now for ThunderTalk. But we'll see what happens. Last pick, of course, for Secret. They're giving themselves counter pick in their final solo lane. I have to imagine, based on what we've seen. Actually, you know what? I don't want to make assumptions. There's Yasuo.
Yeah, so that does mean that it's farming Galio in that duo lane with the Senna. We mentioned before how Galio is a very powerful flex pick, and this is Team Secret showing us both sides of that one. Really exciting stuff, as Senna was banned in the previous game, so you get to show us that strategy.
Such good setup for this Yasuo as well. There's Vi, there's Galio. Senna is great at enabling these champions that want to dive in and helping them out, whether she's on the other side of the map or right next to you. So I like what Secret are bringing to bear. This is a very Secret comp, I feel like. You know, run at him 5v5.
Ton of scaling too. You got this Senna, just infinite scaling in that pick alone, and the Jax as well. You look across the board at ThunderTalk's composition, and you're not really seeing a lot of that late game that can really rival something like a Jax once you hit that 3-item point. I mean, we saw earlier a Jax from the jungle position completely taking over a late game situation. This could certainly be one of those spots as well, but it's Team Secret. You're really going to expect that all of these players, all of these champions can fill that mantle and really just take over if the game does go late.
Yeah, it feels like ThunderTalk is saying, you know what, we drafted the scaling in the last game. Not as interested this go around. Definitely want to try and get the early game rolling a little bit sooner. And it does look like, and I guess we'll wait until we're in game to confirm, but the suspicion that Z is playing Riven may come to fruition. I don't, if he's playing the champion, which I think he is, I don't know which lane he wants to go to, but I guess we'll find out when we get
through. I would imagine that this does mean we're going to go back to the Z Baron lane and Feibai straight to mid. I don't really see how Diana functions super well in the Baron lane, and I do see how Z functions super well in the Baron lane. We've seen it many, many times in their qualification for this tournament, and it feels like he's going to go right back to home. Again, I don't want to knock on his mid performance. He did have a really solid Zed game. It just wasn't the late game that we expect from him to really take over from that side lane. He has that opportunity now.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, you're the mid laner, but, you know, if Riven slips through, if Fiora slips through, maybe take it, see what happens. Give it a go on the blue side. As once again, we are 6 people in the mid lane. It is 3 right now for ThunderTalk, as Chris is going to smack out that ward. But everyone's prepared this time. No one's getting flashed away.
Yep, got to stack right up, make sure you have that priority. And we are completely wrong.
He will honor the agreement he made when he queued up for this game, Smacks. I submitted mid lane. I am staying mid lane. I don't want to get reported.
And yeah, I do like this champion into the Yasuo. I mean, theoretically, you do have a lot of ways to match his mobility. You have a lot of burst to stop him from moving around and kill him where he stands. But at the same time, this is also going to work for him in the late game. You have all of the same tools that a Riven does. It's just in a different spot.
I will say, little thing that I've noticed Z do twice now is loves to get early control of the lane. They go over and smack the Scryer's Bloom, see where the jungler is. It's a little thing, but it's definitely something that I've noticed watching his mid game so far. Katsuri, we'll see how he does here in the 1v1. Z with some very nice dashes back. Gets 2 creeps on the back end of it all, as he's going to have a visit here from Trevor. But the snowball also, oh no, Chris has to cancel it. Knows the jungler's probably there, as everyone's going to come out of the woodwork here in the brief little mid lane 2v2.
It looked like the snowball petered out just a bit there for Chris. He still has the snowball barrage, but not the rollin' one. Still waiting around for the scuttle crabs to spawn, just trying to get some priority in that mid lane. You can see both of them. Both sides are level 3. For some extra trading here. Trevor very durable on this Vi early game, though. It does hit level 4 first as well.
Yeah, nobody wants to give up the wave, so everyone's just gonna hang out. Nuna's like, sure, whatever.
No, you go to the scuttle crab. No, you go to the scuttle crab. I want these minions.
All right, now they go. Everyone's gonna back away to the opposite side. Crabs, as bottom lane, we'll have a brief check-in. Seems all right here. Zero and S12K. Definitely a different lane here. Maybe can get a bit more traction in the 2v2 and get some aggression, but I don't know. I feel like Galio just hits Q and walks away. It doesn't really matter that much.
Still a lot of range that is available here from S12K and Azure. On this Enchantress style that we're seeing from them again, you do still have that late game potential for your squad, but the problem then does become if you can shut down Azar on Jax, because once that Counter-Strike is up, you can buff up this Lucian all you want. He's not hurting the Jax. It's just not going to happen. The culling doesn't do enough to stop him from jumping on you and stunning you. So you have to be very careful, and you have to be very precise with this early game and hope that you don't get killed by Trevor on this gank that you got warded.
It's a great ward actually from ThunderTalk, as that's a great bit of damage onto Chewy. Not enough there. Ignite was burnt by his 12k, but doesn't get the kill.
Definitely not a bad look going for that 2v2 trade. And again, like you said, there was a great ward to spot out Trevor, so they knew exactly what could happen. And they still see their opportunity. They still see, hey, this could be a 2v3 for us, but we just landed a pretty sick bubble. We could probably just go for this trade and force them out, and that's exactly what they do. So we're seeing a lot of that lane prowess still available for Azure and S12K as the new members on the block on this team.
It's actually really nice. It's actually a function of Z's pressure and warding that Trevor really had nowhere else to go. Now sneaking through here on the timing. Faye by. Oh, that's horrible news. Trevor ready with the ulti. Out of mana here, or low on mana, I should say. Just had the barrier though. Faye by. He's going to pop it. There's the Jax going in center. Of course, going to make it oh so easy as Azar gets first blood.
Nicely done there for Trevor. Still waiting around for Azar to get in range, waiting for the minions to arrive. And as you highlighted, Faye had no mana. So there was no way that he was even casting his ultimate, let alone getting out of that one. So again, Team Secret lands a first blood. Again, it comes from Trevor.
I think Trevor kind of slipped through. The only crack that was really there in the warding was to have a look here at the Axe replay once again.
This is just so nice. I love that he's waiting outside of that brush, because as you said, there's a lot of vision available there for ThunderTalk, but he knows how to play the vision game, he knows how to tank up this turret, and Vi is very, very durable at this stage of the game thanks to that passive. So using all those tools very well. Just lose out on some priority thanks to that reset though, and ThunderTalk do get this first objective that they've had all series actually.
The inverse of the last game actually. Now they're the ones going for both objectives here. Chris with a very big snowball hits under Chewy. But the Rift Tail in mid is maybe running interference right now. He's going to get the charge off. Yes, all right, good. Don't make me a liar, Shelly. Does hit the tower, and they're going to get the Drake here as well. So instead, it's send it top lane here for Secret.
Yeah, Team Secret looking to punish this Diana once more, completely abandoning the bottom side of the map, completely abandoning all hope of taking this dragon. It might mean that they do get this first turret, though, as we're seeing sort of a trade on the picture-in-picture on the top right of your screen right there. Z pushing out this wave in that dragon lane very, very heavily, and Team Secret kind of just walking around, not getting a hold of it.
Ooh, James, what are you doing there? That's not the spot you want to be. It's an easy kill there for Faye Bai. Roamed all the way from top in the 1v5, gets the kill in the 5v1.
ThunderTalk has got really everything they could possibly want in that span of about a minute's time there, Pastry. They got the Drake, Rift Herald, they got that turret in the Dragon Lane, and a spare pick onto James. What's going on here for Team Secret? Where were they going?
I don't know, but if we call that early game as maybe something ThunderTalk needed to get going this game, this is not a bad lead to try and lean on here almost 6 minutes through. Up about 1.5k. Not a massive lead, but certainly you'll take it, especially given how much gold Z has been able to accrue. This Riven already 1,100 gold ahead of Tatsuri right now, and is not leaving the side lane anytime soon.
That's Z. You know him, you love him, and he can't have all of this power on Riven thanks to this champion being available and thanks to them being on blue side, so they don't have to worry about banning it. They don't have to worry about Team Secret sniping that one away. Really putting a lot of priority on this first pick champion. I love to see this draft strategy take place in this game, and this is the exact player that I love to see that stuff from as well. If you're going to have a player carry, it's going to be Z.
That's such a sick bubble. My goodness, S12K. In the little center shard gets to, no follow-up of course, it's Azar. Alongside Trevor that is going to zone out Faye Bai once again. It's not been a fun game right now for Diana, but Faye Bai is sacrificing for the cause, swapping lanes, giving up towers in the bottom side, making sure Z can keep that gold ticking up.
He's got a job in this game. It is to deal magic damage. It is to be a nuisance in the side lane perhaps, and to make sure that Azar can't just farm up completely for free on this Jax. You have some ways of getting past that Counter-Strike. You have some ways of trading back. It's not going to be super easy for him, though. And you can see he's building defensive. I believe that is going to build into the Crystalline Reflector, the armor variant item for the ability power build. Really solid under the Diana, and it's really solid against a lot of physical damage dealing champions. Really only James is going to be dealing magic here.
All right, well, 2 items done now for Z. Jack's on the way, though. I think that's the other carry we have to look out for. They're very likely going to meet in the side lane at some point in this game. There is a lot of attention on mid right now. A Secret trying to push out here and stop the siege that ThunderTalk did start earlier from that 1 minute play where they kind of won every corner of the map.
Feels like Team Secret are sort of gathering their bearings at this point. They're like, we cannot let that happen again, guys. We have to make sure that we have people stationed at every corner and maybe get a pick off on a Feibai here.
1v3, Feibai too far forward, and Vi clicks the button and Feibai dies.
Not a lot of ways to get out of that one, Feibai. Not even popping a summoner spells. You have to respect that one, knows he's dead. But he is just the means to an end for ThunderTalk to take another structure. That's all of the outer turrets now for them, keeping that gold lead on lock, and it's going to allow them to have a lot of access to these next objectives that are spawning up. The second Rift Herald first, and then that Mountain Dragon, if they can take that clean sweep and run with it.
All right, well, Herald's up, and it is Secret in the area right now. Chris is going to go ahead on a little expedition, but doesn't like the news he's going to find. He has scouted ahead and seen that the team is already on it. Actually, the team is here. Culling is let rip by Azure, but it's not enough. Z threatening, Herald dead. Team fight here now for Secret, perhaps. Center ulti's nice. Now Galio's going to dive back through. Frontline going to get knocked up there. The stasis is good though, but Azure is just ripping out the damage. And they just need to get in there. Feibai looking for it. Doesn't have the ulti. It's so close. Wants to get away. A massive stun out of Z though. Feibai goes back through. That's the kill that Z was looking for as Feibai finally gets some revenge.
Z, what a playmaker to clean up the rest of that team fight as ThunderTalk do not get the Rift Herald. They are herded outside of that pit despite the really solidly timed and well-placed redemption right here, as you can see right here. They do get all vision inside the pit, but they just don't have enough range on their Nunu to get in there with the consume. I like the way they're stalling out for the cooldowns, though, and the stasis as well to make sure that Z has a second round of Broken Wings. And just watch this again.
And again, Feibai is like waiting, smashing the R button, but it's not there, and Z says, I got you, buddy. Gets in there, dash, flash, stun, snags 3, and ThunderTalk walk away. Growing that gold lead now to, wasn't all that scary at 1500. At 4K, it feels quite a bit more threatening. I also am saying we did not get reports if Trevor died or not. I think he was okay, but we'll never know.
That middle number is 0, so I think you are right about that one. In the middle of that replay, we do see that ThunderTalk were able to take the Mountain Dragon, so still another buff stacking up for them. They've got a lot stacking up on this team, and Z is very close to hitting that 10K mark. He's almost at his crit item as well. What was the thing that you called the item before? The Sparkle Blade?
Oh, Sparkle Blade, yeah. That's a good one. Tetsuru's got one right there.
That he does.
Good on Yasuo too, if everyone's wondering at home. Team Secret are sticking to their MO though, 5v anyone, as they roam down here through the bottom side. Redemption is going to give a little coverage there for Z, who is understandably being targeted by the Secret Death Ball, but dodged nicely there as ThunderTalk have done a really nice job with this core 3 actually, just deflecting these sieges, deflecting these big grouped up plays, and that means it is free time for 5A and Z in the side lanes, which, if you're Secret, not a good time, because you're only going to fall further behind.
This is effectively what ThunderTalk always want to do. They always want to make sure they have at least one member in the side lane, or really just wherever the rest of the team isn't, as long as the team fights aren't happening, because then they can pressure multiple things at the same time. I really love the split push strategy that we see, and even though Feibai is playing the Diana and is traditionally a mid lane champion, he can still do this on this squad. He doesn't necessarily have to be Z all the time.
And look what Chris is doing. I feel like he is literally just wasting the enemy's time. He is like rolling snowballs and just no, he's not threatening an engage. He's just like, just go, get away. Let us push this lane out. He's escorting the minions in as Azar is in a 1v3. They suspect the Reds of Secret are on the way. They would be correct. That is great intuition out of ThunderTalk. 4v5 perhaps. Azure, great flash, nice and quick. But James looking for the top line 3. Center ulti not going to quite connect, but now the fight's going to be into 4v5. Feibai running for the hills down the bottom side, but Z already gets one kill, knocks up another, I believe, as Trevor Low Tetsuri caught in and amongst all the mess. And that's going to be a kill for Azure, and this is just easy. This is a literal 4v5 that Z is just making happen for the rest of the side. ThunderTalk with their lead, with their star player, are going to look to take the ace as Feibai will nab the final kill.
Man, bad news for Team Secret that they cannot win that 5v4. Look at all of the utility that S12K is providing. Excellent engage from James, but you can't break the unbreakable Nami. All of these knockups, the tidal wave weaving through the entire team just before the wind wall arrives as well. Very well timed, and it's providing so much access for Z to tear through the entirety of Team Secret. It's a big team effort here, and you love to see that from these teammates who haven't been playing together for too long. You have to remember, this is a ThunderTalk Gaming that has 3 new players, and they're making it work super well in these team fights.
Well, you know what? It's nice to see the analysts asking, am I going to get their predictions correct? Because they all said 2-1, and you cannot get a 2-1 if Secret sweep here. So ThunderTalk definitely looking like they're going to make a 3rd game here, but not over yet here. Team Secret, this is where we start to tell the story that we've heard so many times.
They have a lot of access to be those comeback kings. They have a lot of access to this fighting team.
She is stasis. There's the snowball coming in hot, trying to save it. Delivery is almost enough to save Z, but it's not enough for the Azure. Now the one put to task to take out the rest of Secret. The gold lead's still good. Tatsuri with a very, very fancy looking Beyblade, but still dead as Azure crafts the double.
Still not super favorable for Team Secret. Even after they pick off the superstar Z, they don't get anything else off of it, and they end up worse for wear. They don't have all their members available to take a secondary fight, and that does mean that ThunderTalk walk away with this Infernal Dragon. That's 3 of them in a row. Team Secret really do need to keep extenuating this game and keep getting more gold into their carries. Luckily, Azar just picked up a Sterix Gauge, so he's getting there, but it's not quite fast enough.
Yeah, again, everyone else is trying to outpace you. Z caught here in the 1v2, tried to save him, wasn't quite enough. Thankfully, the back end was.
I really like this re-engage here from Nunu. You're seeing that he does provide a lot in this front line, but on the flip side, you're seeing that just because Team Secret have the initial play, the rest of ThunderTalk are super fast. That Nunu Snowball is a great example. 0-0-11 on this, by the way. 100% kill participation for Chris. Great game for him. But just all of this re-engage potential, all this mobility from the carries of the Lucian and the Riven, and then the backup support from the front line for Chris and the back line from S12K. You're seeing all these pieces fall into place for ThunderTalk.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've talked up Z, and I think rightly so, but Chris definitely having a great game. S12K looking great on this Nami. But it's Azua's time to shine. 3-item Lucian is ready to go, and they are just hitting the Baron smacks.
No vision quite yet.
No need vision.
Oh,
hello. Trevor just in there. Nami gonna get knocked up. Yasuo ulti's there, and that's the kill. Now it's another 4v5 here for the ThunderTalk boys as Azure finally makes his way in. Baylife gonna grab the kill. Z is just zoning out everyone. Trevor is gonna be dead to right there as Z does manage to grab that one. And yep, that was another 4v5, and it still doesn't matter. 3 kills already. Z gonna make it 4. Gonna make it 4. Doesn't make me lie. Don't do it. Chewy, nice kiting. Z, hit him more. Nope, not enough. He does get out.
Pastry time, fire. But ThunderTalk right back to the Baron. They're going to pick up that prize for themselves. S12K goes down for the cause. But ThunderTalk really securing this game, trying to make sure that that comeback king title is not going to be true for Team Secret in this game. I like what Azar attempted here, though. On this Jax, jumps over this pit. He tries to make a favorable 1v1 for him on this Jax, but he's just not fed enough. He's just not strong enough to make the rest of the team fight work after his team is already dead. He's not a valuable frontliner when he goes for a play like that, so the rest of his backline just completely melts. And that's really just been the story of Team Secret in all of these fights.
All right, well, Baron up. Bay by hitting mid. Rest of Secret are going to answer. Z, of course, in the side lane here. Little 4-1 split action there, trying to bust down some of these towers that open up the entrance to the Nexus. Tier 2 dead here in mid. And there should be at least one of these. Z going to make short work if he's able to free hit it. Instead, hits Azar with the 3rd hit of Broken Wings.
A lot of damage right there. You're seeing that the members of Team Secret are very afraid of what Z can do in their backline. Frankly, I'm afraid as well. They're backing up completely, abandoning their inhibitor turret. The first of 3 to fall for the side of ThunderTalk. They're making it a second one in there.
Z going in. Oh my goodness, just takes out Tatsuri. That was a solo kill. Just picks up the Yasuo. Nexus now open. Baron's still here. The cannon's hitting it. This could be it. There is. He's going to charge in. Tidal Wave knocks up 3. Everyone get in there. And that is absolute carnage in the bases. ThunderTalk are going to give us a Game 3 here. Our first one of Horizon Cup, Smacks.
Eventually, one of the best of 3s in the group stage had to become interesting. And of course, it was going to be this one. Well done for ThunderTalk Gaming. We're starting to see that same formula that we're used to from ThunderTalk, where they've got Z on a late game carry bruiser. I love this look from him. If he can make it work in mid lane as well, this just gives this team so many layers as they take us to that game.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there, but great to see they can still play those Baron lane champs in mid lane. Z not afraid to take them, even in potentially a different role. Nami looking nice. Nunu looking absolutely unreasonable. I don't know if I want to give that one back to Chris.
Yeah, the Nunu just looks so strong, and I'm surprised at this point that we haven't seen other teams try this one quite yet, frankly, with how powerful it did look in that jungle role. We were mentioning before how it is a very unique champion, doesn't really fit in with the other style that I'm sure these players are used to playing, like the Lee Sin and the Riven and the other options that are like that, all of them very, very similar. Nunu, a very supportive style champion, but Chris really making that work. I don't actually think he died a single time that game.
No, I assume he might have not got 100% KP with that last kill.
Yeah, that last kill.
I'm not too sure, because it looked like a solo kill on my screen, but definitely doing some numbers there on Nunu.
Right.
Being everywhere. Feibai taking one for the team in whatever side lane they ended up in. Just getting constantly harassed by the rest of Secret, who you see they were trying to make it happen. They were trying to group for the 5v5s and get it going. And I think ThunderTalk just played very nicely around any of those engages and then found their picks nice and easily. And as soon as they got ahead, it's like, you're throwing money back into the pit, hoping it jumps back out, but it doesn't.
The big question for me after a game like that is, for Z, if you're going to play Riven mid, where does your champion pool stop? Can you play the Fiora mid? Can you play the Camille mid? Does it still work? We know that you're good at these champions, but can you make it work in this new role that you're playing? Riven already on the board. Maybe that's going to be an option for him. If he still has the same tools that we're used to seeing him have in the late game, does it really matter if that laning phase isn't quite as powerful as something like a Twisted Fate? I don't know. He's gonna have to show us.
I don't think anyone has gotten Fiora yet in this tournament.
That's true.
I think if Z gets Fiora, he just like, Feibai, get back to mid. I'm going back to the Baron lane here. Because I'm going to send it down now to Kangas and Kuri to break that game down.
With Riku, I think it was draft diff. I think that the draft will be cleaner. And speaking of, we're going to send it back over to Pastry and Smacks to bring us through draft for game number 3.
Thank you very much, Kangas. Well, Smacks, I don't make the rules. I am a shoutcaster. I am bound by the unwritten rulebook of shoutcasting to say we have a series. Because we now have a third game here in our best of 3.
We do indeed have a series, and ThunderTalk back on that red side after taking their first win of it. Starting to take away the Baron laners once more. The Camille and the Fiora already off the board. It again makes me a little sad that they're eating away at Z's own champion pool, but you gotta take these champions off the board. They're just way too powerful to give over to a player like Azar, so gotta respect it.
Respect is earned as well here, and Nunu is gonna get the respect he deserves. Banned by Team Secret. There is a final one joining Ziggs and Senna. Riven unfortunately does join the pool. That means Renekton's left open. Will be the first pick here by Secret. Blue side definitely feeling like it's pretty good as far as this series goes. So Secret will be happy to be back on this side here for this third and final game. Gragas is once again the choice here for ThunderTalk. It's what else they want that's kind of interesting here.
Major flex pick option there for the Gragas. You can send it to many, many different roles. Most notably, the support role, I think, would be the most interesting for me because we've seen Enchanter lanes for both games, for both teams. Now, Senna's sort of an Enchanter lane. I feel like it's Enchanter adjacent, but if you do lock in this Gragas, then you're completely departing away from that one in the support role. We're just gonna have to find out what that is. Team Secret already doing the same thing, though. The Braum does get locked in for that support. We know that that role is the option, and we've seen this champion work out pretty well already today as that tank, as that peel-heavy champion, and the Unbreakable Wall really helps out with that.
Yeah, Lucian as well going to get taken away here. Zero looking nice on that one as well. So not wanting to give that away. Instead, it's Xayah here. Wonder if Rakan will join her, as is tradition in some ways, but could be plenty of other picks. Could be the Gragas you already highlighted, Smacks. 20 seconds now for ThunderTalk to figure things out.
ThunderTalk locking in 2 marksmen for their team once more, and it is Lulu instead of the Rakan. So still sticking with that Enchanter style. You got the extra peel available from the Lulu, much more defensive than the grand entrance style of the quickness of the Rakan. And again, they are leaving counterpick to Z to the very bitter end. Now Trevor on the Lee Sin.
It's back.
Yeah. Oof, it's back.
Yeah, I guess Chris just happy on the Graves. No, knew this was something that could happen, but Trevor looked pretty deadly on Lee in game number 1. He's going to revisit the champion here in the 3rd. Final pick though here, Hermes has 10 seconds to line it up here for the team. It looks like they're after a mid laner. What do I not want to play against? What do I not want to get counter for? You know what, Galio? Pretty safe, pretty solid.
First pick champion for both of the previous games on either side, but still first pick, so pretty surprising that it has slid all the way down this far into the draft, but nonetheless still selected by Team Secret. Lots of frontline on this composition, and when you think of where the damage is coming from, it's nearly all entirely Chewy on the solution. And the ooh is for good reason here based on your time. This is likely Z's Orianna. This is a ranged champion, which is just in and of itself not something we're used to seeing from him.
No, you know, loves his bruises. His head looked great in game number 1. Definitely has the hands for a lot of these flashy champions, but Orianna, definitely a playmaker still in her own right, although a very different one here. We'll see what happens. I'm very curious to see where these champions are going, but it does feel like Z is dedicated to mid this tournament, at least right now, and Orianna will likely be his champion.
There's really no way in my mind that this game can be about Z if ThunderTalk are going to win. They've got a lot of extra damage from Chris's Graves and from Azura's Xayah. Orianna does deal damage, but it's not nearly as much as the crit that can come through for the late game. So this is going to be a very different style than what we're used to seeing from ThunderTalk in the past terms that they've played, and even in this series, because Z did make the games about him in the first 2, whether by success or by failure. Now in game 3, that's just not the case.
Right, I mean, Lulu's got speed-ups and shields, and Orianna's got speed-ups and shields, and sometimes she hits a shockwave and wins the team fight, but mostly Z is definitely playing support here alongside the double marksman that ThunderTalk are bringing back out here, as Faber is, of course, on tank duty once again. I feel like they're trusting in their scaling, trusting in their 5v5, which is a risky proposition against the likes of Secret, but you know what? I'm here for it.
I've got a proposition for you, Pace.
I'm ready.
With this Orianna, if Z makes this work, I feel like that actually does qualify him to be potentially the best player in the world, because if this doesn't work, we might have to change the goalpost and say that he is the best bruiser player in the world. I think this is really the biggest test that we could possibly see from him on his new shift to the mid lane role. And I, for one, am very excited about this prospect.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Even though there are similarities for the solo lanes, they are different places. They play very differently. They often have extremely different roles and champions. So Z wants to be a carry basically anywhere he goes. Very curious to see if he can do so, having to support his teammates here. In particular, Azura is going to have to live forever on this side, which he's very good at doing.
Yes.
But Secret always find a way to kill the carry.
Many ways for this Xayah to survive and deal all of this damage and thrive in those late game situations. This is another situation where you have a lot of late game on the side of ThunderTalk Gaming. Now, the last time that they fully committed to a late game style, Team Secret was in their comfort zone. This is the way that they've been able to play all throughout their entire competitive split, all the way up until they qualified for the Horizon Cup to get here. So if this is another one of those situations, maybe Team Secret are just going to have that comfort zone factor for them again.
Yeah, definitely curious to see kind of what happens in the early stages of the game. I feel like we've had 2 different, like, very high-impact jungle games, very, like, in a different way. Like, Trevor's, like, literally styling at everyone, killing them all, and Chris is like, hello, I will snowball you. And, yeah, and, you know, participation's in all the kills, if unfortunately no kills for Nunu and Willem themselves. So I think Trevor is going to have a similar impact. I do think Secret needs to get a grip early in this game, because if it's nice and chill and we get to 20 minutes and everyone's got gold, I would be terrified, even for the comeback kings themselves.
Team Secret sort of shaken by game 2. They did not really get a hold on that game for its entirety, even in that late game that we know they are so potent and so skilled at pleading for themselves. They're going to have to face off against this Titan. Now, Knight popped onto Z right away.
It's Tatsuri's trying to send a message. Z's sending one right back.
Yeah.
Says, hey, my auto attacks are pretty good. Getting a nice aggressive ward down as well. Again, Z loves to get control of the lane early. That has been the case the entire time so far this series in mid. We'll see how Feibai, though, lines up there up against the Renekton, as it is a brawl in mid lane right now.
Yeah.
There is a summoner down on each side. Tatsuri's eating the honey fruit. Feibai's brawling Azar. It's just bleeding into the solo lanes. Everyone's getting crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is do or die here for this best of 3, and these are some of the expected favorites of the entire group coming into this one. Whoever gets the upper hand here, on paper, should have a pretty easy time getting out of this group and getting into that playoff. And even though this series has been very close, even though you have a win each, it really does come down to that game 3 to secure your spot in that playoffs potentially.
Well, early visit there for both junglers, but it is Chris with the Graves able to harass Trevor a little bit and get that lane pushed out. That does give a breather for a honey fruit lunch break there out of Z, who does eat that, but isn't going back to base just yet. Bottom side is looking nice actually here. Seen Azura and S12K not have too much success, I feel like, in the 2v2 early on so far. Game 1, they're just getting perma pushed in. Game 2 was kind of a wash. But so far in these early stages, looking good there as Trevor finally misses one on camera.
Yeah, quite close. You know, if it had just a little bit more range, he would have had it. But unfortunately, not the case here for Trevor, as much as it may feel like it for his opponents when playing this Lee Sin. Gonna have to wait for the first big explosion of a Lee Sin.
Tatsuri does have flash. He's gonna need it here as Z is lining it up. Ignite down! Close, but not enough. One more auto was needed.
No globals. I'm checking on the right side of my screen to see if there's any Ezreal or Senna, but no, it is going to be Tatsuri. Completely safe on this one. Maybe just a little spooked in his chair right there on the stage up there in Singapore. So we're still waiting for that big play that I mentioned before, Trevor.
Yeah, Ignite down though. Z has a barrier back up, but we'll turn our attention to this top side here. Feibai.
Hold on.
Barrier flash.
Level
No
5's
ulti.
coming. There it is.
How close are we? Chris behind him as well here. This should be all right. Feibai should be fine. As are going to be the target now as ThunderTalk turn it back around, but the kick just so good. And Trevor almost gets the kill. The cask spills it on the ground as Trevor gets away.
Slight error from Trevor there. He uses his Sonic Wave before the kick, so he doesn't secure that one does land every single time. Misses out on that crucial damage, and because of it, does miss out on that first blood. Now, it's not without complete reward. Feibai does force a recall out and does leave Azar with a pretty sizable experience lead, but still waiting for that first blood to happen. And for Trevor, that usually does come with the first Lee Sin kick, so it is a shame for him that first one didn't lead to that full fruition for himself.
A rare miss, but ult's cooling down. Won't be too far away at this point. 3 minutes 30 is the current mark. You can see both objectives spawning now in about 25 seconds. We have a party here in the mid lane. Z is going to be the target. It's a 3v2 right now as Chris moves in. Tatsuri looking to be the bait, and Hammers jumps out a little early. Trevor, no ulti, Q doesn't land, and that will defuse there in mid.
Trying to find something just before these neutral objectives spawn. It does look like Team Secret are more interested in taking the Dragon. An objective that is more difficult to kill than the Rift Herald. You don't have the extra eye pop damage to help along in the process, but even still, they are moving over to that side of the map. Not actually taking the Infernal quite yet, though. Even though they could have gone for that trade, they know that Chris would have had an easier time with the Rift Herald. He could have potentially gone over to that objective. And instead, Team Secret are going to start up the Rift Herald.
Yeah, feeling maybe what you said. Hey, it's easy. Let me take that. Give me that one first. We'll go back for the other one later, as that did give Azura and S12K some nice damage onto the bottom side tower, get a bit of extra gold for themselves. In fact, they're just leaving. They're like, you know what, they can have the Herald. Or maybe they can't. 3v3 on the card. Shockwave maybe is Feibai. Also with the ulti. There's Galio zooming in. Now it's a 5v3. And ThunderTalk will evacuate the area as the Herald goes to Secret.
It was like ThunderTalk were just forcing out a cooldown, and that cooldown was expended. That was the hero's entrance for Tatsuri. So they walk away empty-handed in a way, but they don't have to worry about that big cooldown if they want to go for the Infernal Dragon, which,
now,
if you can secure it, is a better objective to have. It is permanent. It's a lot of extra damage.
Right. Very, very good. in this game, as it turns out. Always a good one to grab. Unfortunately, did take the easier thing, which was just getting a tower, which is maybe not as valuable, but Azure, the play we highlighted here in this draft that is going to be kind of the keystone of this comp in a lot of ways here for ThunderTalk, if they are going to push themselves to the late game and take it over Secret here in 3. That's a pretty quick Infinity Edge here for this Xayah, so Azure is ready for battle.
Big crits available now for Azure as they do move over to that Dragon, as we predicted right there. Team Secret, on the flip side, completely committing to the Baron lane, completely committing to taking out this turret. Doesn't look like they need the Rift Herald for it either. They can save that one for later. I really, really like that sort of hesitation, but in a good way. You know, it's more reservation at that point. They can use that one to take out another turret somewhere else.
And they're going to need to, right? Because the gold is actually just a bit ahead, but I would call it like kind of even. Actually, I take it back. ThunderTalk actually floating about 1,000 gold ahead, thanks to, I think, the tower being taken in the bottom side. You know, just some nice farming there from Azure in particular. The thing is, though, I feel like that kind of trade where I'm taking your structure, I'm getting this Rift Herald for this gold later on, and giving you the Infernal is accepting that at 20 minutes, for maybe the first time ever in their career, they don't think they can win the 5v5.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because they do have a lot of early game, and they know just how powerful their early game was in game 1. It does feel like Team Secret are more committing to that style of play. You're going to need to make that work very quickly, though, because those marksmen for ThunderTalk have not been punished at all. In fact, they are a bit ahead in the bottom side. Azure with about 600 gold in his pocket over Chewy. You got to stop this eventually, Team Secret. You got to find those big Trevor plays with Elisa and Dragon's Rage.
Yeah, this side is just terrifying. Gets scary by the second. Here's Trevor. Looks for the kick into the waiting arms of Z with the flash shockwave. Is not enough. Taunt finds 2. There's first blood at 7 minutes over to the Galio.
Spoken into existence, Pastry time. They find that play onto Z just before his stasis is available. It's a really nice pass.
Bayby in there, but they're not going to be able to save the tower now. Bayby locked up in a 1v4. Chris behind him, but that's not enough. In fact, it's 2 more. A double kill there for the Renekton as Secret explode in the game.
And Pastry, we saw that Azure was the one that was really far ahead on ThunderTalk. He had a gigantic lead. He already had this Infinity Edge, and ThunderTalk just making the play without him. Well, this play is not their fault. Trevor is just a really good gamer, as it turns out, on this Lee Sin. He's finding this really solid play, but then as soon as this Gragas comes in and tries to stop the turret from going down and then committing his body slam as well, there's no way for Bayby to get out. At that point, ThunderTalk has lost it.
Yeah, that Herald you mentioned earlier that they saved from top lane. Looking real nice there for that play in mid. They get the tower, they get 2 kills, and now all of a sudden, they've got themselves a decent little lead here. Up about 2k through 8 minutes. Still some work to do, but Team Secret finally putting themselves in the spot they're looking to be in here in this game, and they're not stopping. It's Bayby once again gonna be bullied here by the rest of Secret. Although reinforcements are here, ThunderTalk now maybe gonna turn it back around. No, it's a disengaging calling there from Chewy.
Bayby no cask to defend himself, but he does have his entire team in the back wing, so ends up surviving that play. As you mentioned, Team Secret definitely looking for plays, looking for avenues to break apart this game and make sure they can avoid the scaling of this marksman squad for ThunderTalk. Very similar to Game 1, albeit slightly slower paced. Setting up for this Rift Herald. It's a big fight.
Very big fight. Nice ulti there out of Braum. Stasis we go. The damage is there. Galio coming down onto the head, but Orianna gets that first kill. Z somehow still alive, but the ulti's already committed. Galio finally gonna nab that kill, and Secret are gonna make it work here. Azure bleeding low on health, but not dead as he did get the lead. A 2 for 2 at the end of the day. No, a 2 for 1 is Z, the only casualty, but there's the second they were looking for. It's Bayby once again left to the wall. And just barely enough there for Chewy, as that's going to be a trade kill. Oh, it's 12k! That Q is not enough. Braum, I think he saved it.
All right, Team Secret. They do miss out on that Rift Herald. I don't know if we saw it, but Chris ended up sneaking into the pit and stealing that one away for himself. But this engage was really solid. I love the way that this Galio is being used, especially that ultimate there from Tatsuri, because he gives his entire team that magic damage shield as soon as the shockwave pops. Z otherwise would have dealt a massive amount of damage, so really nice avoidance here. And now he was sort of hanging out, waiting for somebody to walk into his clutches, and Bayby unfortunately takes the bait.
Yeah, Bayby looked like he was going to get it too. He steals it, and what happened here? Just not enough. That Q to do damage.
Yeah. balance, just barely not quite enough.
Ardent sense of Lulu.
Yeah.
Not that much DPS, it turns out.
Unfortunately, no for S12K, but they might have enough DPS for this Drake. They got some feathers on it, good burst.
Oh, Tatsuri, it's a beautiful play. Z, the target flushes out. Ulti out of Braum, not enough Faye, though. Tanking very low, though, on the other side. The Secret are going to get the play turned on its head. It's ThunderTalk that find the first frag. Now looking on tomorrow's Team Secret, back away.
Team Secret going for another big engage, but starting to feel the sweat on their brow. Pastry time, they're not finding their targets, they're not killing anybody. ThunderTalk now has the gold lead back in their hands thanks to that Rift Herald that Chris so stealthily stole away. 2 turrets in the mid lane. ThunderTalk have so much scaling and they're really finding their stride now in game 3.
Yeah, 2 Drakes as well. Did grab the second. Shelly managed to get the second tower after missing a charge on the first because they already had it. As we watch this once again, the Axe replay. What happened in this team fight?
So ThunderTalk fully committing to this Drake. I love that they do this before the team fight begins, and I love that they have all of this speed. Team Secret just don't punish the fact that they are spending a lot of their damage onto this objective, and they try to engage, but by that point, the Drake's already dead. The marksmen are going to start hitting you. You are not safe after this. Azure is very, very far ahead. Those crits hurt a lot. He has that Solari Charge Blade as well. You can't take a 5-on-5 fight anymore, Team Secret. You have to go for more picks.
Yeah, it felt like just watching that fight back that Secret were trying to run into Azure and then Chris ran at them. And you just can't really do anything in the face of the 2 marksmen running at you, especially with Lulu enchanting up a storm. So it is looking good for ThunderTalk to complete the little mini reverse sweep. Oh goodness, what's happening here? Tame's in trouble. Looking for 2 maybe on the shockwave, doesn't land just yet, but it's Azar, the straggler, as Azure actually eats a lot of damage. That's a good opportunity, Tatsuri! Maybe gonna make it happen. It's S12K that falls, but Azure's still alive. Z there as well, but now it's gonna be another kill onto Faye surely. Already got the support. Looking for the top lane, it takes a little bit. Pretty tanky on the Gragas, but still enough damage to take it. Is now Trevor looking to make it happen. The shield's there from Ori, gotta go in for it, and that is not enough. Trevor with a misstep, still has the ulti, did not kick anyone, and Azure is gonna live.
And oh wait, hold on a second. Z is not quite done. Pastry time looking for more damage, but Chewy stops his recall and runs away. Team Secret felt like they found a little bit more of a team fight that they appreciated. Chris was nowhere to be found, completely isolated in that Baron lane. They do pick up some really solid kills. Still feeling overeager though, especially Trevor on that last play, trying to make that assassination work, so we do get this replay here.
Yeah, I mean, looking good here for Secret, as you said, finding the fight with Chris off chilling in the top lane. But what yeah, this is ambitious from Trevor, let's call it.
Yeah, he lands the Sonic Wave and then he tries to avoid the Orianna damage, flash forward and get the kick. Doesn't quite get the kickoff, so doesn't get all of that extra burst damage onto Azure and gets bursted himself. A little bit unlucky there for Trevor, his second misstep of the game, really, and it's just not feeling like that same effect. Down in gold to Chris on this marksman champion that we've been highlighting as being super, super powerful in a farming style jungle meta. Well, the Baron is quite risky if they can't bring everyone outside of the pit.
I love this play. Just run over here, force them to come to you, try and find a team fight. Chris did a lot of damage, so little sacrifice they didn't want to make to try and force a fight, but Secret don't bite. Just back away here, Dragon up in 20 seconds, as you can see. So ThunderTalk just trying to line it up here, wanting to force the fight at an objective. You already said it, Max. Secret do not want a 5v5, and that is all ThunderTalk want right now.
ThunderTalk can get what they want. It feels like they can just move around where these objectives are, because if you're Team Secret, you can't give away a 3rd dragon in a row, because that just makes the Elder so powerful. So for ThunderTalk, they can stack up, they can anticipate the move of Team Secret, and by stacking up in mid lane and keeping their Graves on the jungle, they're effectively pressuring every single part of the map, forcing Team Secret to try something, knowing that they can't trade, they can't go for the Baron. They've got no way to do it.
Oh, that's such a good play. Braum ulti around the back. Tatsuri roams in. Can they get Azure? The stasis is there. Need to save the Xayah. Ulti's still there, ready to go in the shields. Oh, no, up Azure, they get stunned, and that's the kill that Secret are after it. Z is soloing the rest of the squad on the other side. It's Tatsuri looking to make it happen. Z gets taunted. Nice shutdown there out of the Galio. And Secret, they're staying in this game. They kill both the carries.
Not too bad for Team Secret. You said both the carries, though. Pastry, they've got 3 on ThunderTalk. They've still got Chris, and he's the jungler to boot. He can go right back over to the Baron if need be and start this one up. But as you said, great engage for Team Secret. You can see the teamwork they've been building up in the 5v5 fight coming to fruition in the first international tournament for them.
I was wondering where the Zyra was. I found it nice and early for Azure to try and dodge the Galio, and that did not work. The taunt lasted more than long enough, and Azure just CC'd forever as Secret are sending it into the Baron pit in the picture-in-picture. This is getting spicy as Chris just ults the Baron. He's like, get off that thing. It's mine now. And nope, don't want to take it just yet. This is trying to finish the Baron. Azure now going to join the fight. The Baron is so low. And now Oriana's joining the fray. Just take the Baron! It's yours! Everyone's stunned up, but Trevor's on the backside, so it's not theirs. Instead, they'll take the 5v4 team fight, but Chris now ate too much damage. Bye-bye! Sick, nasty ulti onto his arm, and Trevor doesn't grab the Baron. It's stolen by Chris as Trevor tried to find the highest, but ThunderTalk, that may be the series, Smack.
Oh, it just might be. I respect the hell out of that attempt for Trevor to get around the pit and attempt the steal. But it just doesn't work, and now 2 members of Team Secret are dead. They've got a Baron minion wave to worry about. That turret is paper. It is gone. ThunderTalk have the scissors, and they're trying to take down the whole Nexus.
Oh, Shockwave finds the front liner. Chewy's trying to do what he can. Tetsuri again. Just trying to play interference, but it's not enough here. That Baron is going to do it. It's ThunderTalk. They're going to complete the sweep all the way back. A 2-1 victory, but not the one the analysts predicted, as ThunderTalk are going to start off with a win.
Not just a 2-1 victory for ThunderTalk, but a 2-0 victory for the teams heralding China against SEA on the day. Not something that I think everyone was predicting. These were 2 of the powerhouse regions coming into this tournament, but a 2-0 sweep, or I guess I should say a 4-1 overall for China. Very impressive stuff for these guys in ThunderTalk, even with the roster swaps and with the roster moves. The role swaps as well, still making it work. This team is so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, see, definitely as good as advertised.
Yeah.
A very wide array of champions showcased and looking good in all 3 games. I will say, though, the sleeper, I guess, and we couldn't have known because they weren't on the team before we joined. Azure seems like a pretty good backup here for this squad.
Fully agree right there. I'm really loving his marksman play, and we saw him on different styles as well. That Senna really stands out to me as being an exciting thing to have on a team like this, because when you have a lot of other carries, when you have literally Z on your team, you want to be able to have more support on your squad. And now that we know that Z can do this too on Oriana in mid lane, oh, this team has so many layers, and this is just huge news for them moving forward into this tournament. Great way to start this off.
All right, very important team selfie here as ThunderTalk are going to celebrate. Smiles on the faces, have to think so. That was we expected to be a pretty tense series. I get the 2-1 predictions across the board because I think it was expected to be close. Secret obviously going to be disappointed to collect a loss here, but I think still showing that when they're on, they're really on. Game 1 especially was an absolute thrashing of ThunderTalk. And it kind of like feels bad because feel like if in the series narrative overall, Team Secret kind of got Team Secreted.
Yeah, I know. Perhaps new patch jitters or something for them. It really did feel like they came in with a different strategy. They had a lot more early game focus, they had a lot more Rift Herald focus for this team, which makes sense as there are now 2 of them. That's twice as many of that objective to go take. But as this team that we've been hyping up as this late game monster that you can't possibly beat in that stage of the game if they feel comfortable, this is a very big departure from that. And it's something that they're going to have to look at and say, maybe we go back to that comfort. Maybe this is just unlucky. Maybe we want to keep going for this early game to try to have as many layers as possible as we try to make our way to that playoffs.
Yeah, definitely like a lot of questions. Obviously, plenty of games left to play for both these teams. So very excited that we'll get to see them again. But at the end of the day, it is ThunderTalk that are able to grab it there 2-4. And that's it from us, though. But for more, let's check in with Kangas at the State Farm Analyst Desk.